I had learned over the years that some moments hit you harder than you expect. Moments that test not just your patience, but your entire sense of self. Last Friday was one of those moments. I was sitting across from Claire at a small, dimly lit restaurant, our anniversary dinner meant to be a quiet escape from our hectic lives. Everything seemed normal at first, the clink of silverware, the low murmur of other diners, but then I noticed the way the waiter lingered a little too long, the way Claire laughed a little too freely. First I brushed it off. Maybe I was overthinking it. But then I caught her hand brushing his, subtle yet deliberate, a touch that shouldn't have been there. My chest tightened, a familiar ache of betrayal rising inside me. I leaned back, trying to remain calm, my mind already racing through scenarios, weighing every word, every glance. Claire noticed my change in expression almost immediately. She tilted her head, that confident smile on her face, and said softly, "We'll talk at home." Her words, intended to calm, only fueled my anger. Not the anger of shouting or yelling, but the simmering, controlled kind that builds quietly until it consumes every rational thought. I didn't respond immediately. I couldn't. I had to see her reactions, gauge her intentions, understand the truth hidden beneath her carefully chosen words. The waiter returned with our drinks, oblivious to the tension, smiling and nodding politely. Claire laughed again and my stomach turned. I felt a strange mix of betrayal, rage, and disbelief. The woman I had trusted completely, who shared my life and my home, was flirting openly, yet had the audacity to claim we would discuss it later. Later. As if the moment could be postponed, as if the truth could be delayed. I studied her face, her eyes darting between the waiter and me, the corners of her mouth twitching nervously. My mind replayed every detail of our relationship. The trust, the shared responsibilities, the unspoken agreements that had always kept us grounded. And now in a single night those foundations seemed to crumble. I took a slow, measured breath, trying to control my voice before I spoke. "Claire," I said quietly, my tone steady. "What exactly are we talking about when we get home?" Her smile faltered slightly, replaced with a nervous tension. "Nothing, just we need to discuss something," she said vaguely, avoiding my gaze. I leaned forward slightly, letting my calm intensity press on her without raising my voice. "I'd like to know now. Because if this is something that's been happening while I trusted you, I deserve to hear it before we walk out of this restaurant." Claire shifted in her seat, her fingers fidgeting with the edge of her napkin. I could see the hesitation, the subtle panic in her eyes, the way she avoided meeting mine directly. I knew that look. It was the same one people get when they've crossed a line, and they realize too late that their actions have consequences. It's not what you think," she said finally, her voice tight, carefully measured. I held up a hand, stopping her before she could continue. "Not what I think. Claire, I watched it happen. I saw how you laughed, the way your hand lingered. You're asking me to believe this is innocent." Her lips parted, ready to respond, but I didn't let her speak. I wanted her to feel the weight of her choices, the tension of a moment that couldn't be ignored or swept under the rug. I could feel the eyes of nearby diners flicking in our direction, sensing the silent storm brewing at our table, but I didn't care. This wasn't about appearances, it was about trust, respect, and honesty. Claire finally sighed, leaning back slightly, her shoulders sagging as if the energy of the evening had suddenly drained from her. I don't know why it happened," she admitted, her voice almost a whisper. "It was just a stupid moment. I wasn't thinking." I cut her off gently but firmly. "A stupid moment, Claire? A stupid moment doesn't involve flirting, teasing, and hiding actions from the person who trusts you the most. This wasn't accidental. This was a choice. And choices have consequences." Her eyes filled with tears now, the vulnerability I rarely saw in her breaking through the confident exterior she always maintained. I wanted to reach across the table, hold her hands, and tell her everything would be okay, but I couldn't. Not yet. This was a lesson she needed to fully grasp. "You need to understand something," I continued, my tone calm but heavy with meaning. "Trust isn't just built on words or promises. It's built on actions, on consistency. You violated that tonight. And a simple 'we'll talk at home' doesn't erase what happened. It doesn't fix the damage done." Her hands trembled slightly as she put them on the table. A silent plea, a hope that my anger would fade. But my mind was already racing through what had to happen next. Conversations at home, boundaries, accountability. All the things that mattered when betrayal enters a relationship. I leaned back, letting my calm composure contrast with the storm inside me. "We will talk at home," I said slowly, echoing her words. "But don't expect it to be a conversation where I just forgive and forget. This needs honesty, full honesty, Claire. No excuses, no hiding, no deflection." We left the restaurant in silence, the drive home heavy with unspoken words. I could feel Claire's anxiety radiating from the passenger seat, but I kept my eyes on the road, my mind carefully analyzing every detail of the evening. Every laugh, every glance, every lingering touch replayed in my head, sharpening the sense of betrayal that had taken root. Once we arrived home, I didn't rush to confront her. Instead, I asked her to sit down at the kitchen table, the same way I had sat at the restaurant. The dim light highlighted the tension on her face, the uncertainty in her movements. I let the silence stretch, letting her feel the gravity of her actions before I spoke. "Claire," I said finally, my voice calm but firm, "what you did tonight, flirting with someone else while I trusted you, changes things. We can't ignore it. We can't pretend it didn't happen. You need to understand exactly how serious this is." She nodded slowly, her eyes downcast. "I know. I messed up. I didn't mean to, I don't know why I did it." I took a deep breath, steadying myself. Intentions don't matter as much as actions. You made a choice, and now we deal with the consequences. Trust isn't something you can ask for back. It's earned every single day. And right now, you need to prove that you're willing to do that. Her hands trembled as she placed them on the table, searching for reassurance, forgiveness, something to anchor her. I reached out, lightly touching her hand, not in anger, but in a silent reminder that while I was hurt, the relationship could survive if honesty and effort came next. "You have to understand," I said, my tone softer now. "We are building a family together. What happens here doesn't just affect us. It affects the child you carry, the home we share, the life we're supposed to create. Every choice matters. And tonight you made a choice that shook that foundation." Claire's eyes filled with tears, a mixture of guilt and relief, finally acknowledging the truth she had tried to evade. "I understand," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "I'll do whatever it takes to fix this." I nodded slowly, feeling a cautious hope blooming. "Actions, Claire. Not words. Every day from now on, it's actions that will rebuild what's been broken. This is our chance to prove that love isn't just about feelings. It's about commitment, respect, and trust." And in that quiet kitchen, I realized that betrayal doesn't have to destroy everything, but it does demand accountability, courage, and a willingness to face the truth head-on. And tonight, Claire had her first step toward redemption, and I had mine toward understanding the fragile, powerful balance between love and trust.